Okay, wonderful. There we go. So, welcome everybody to tonight's coaching session with Coach Matt. So, this will be the session two of the coaching session that we've been having with our course members. So, this course coaching sessions is for to help teachers who have enrolled in the course, to give them some practical experience and to show them what to expect, what to do in their lessons once they are teaching for companies. Guys, so tonight we are going to take a look at TPR. TPR is very, very important. Hello, Coach Matt. There we go. Big. Yes, now I can see all
Uh,
everything, all the blemishes. You're getting old. Wow. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so we're going to look at TPR, total physical response, which is very, very important, especially if you're teaching young learners. So we can use TPR for teaching adults as well, teens and adults, but its main purpose, its main focus is with young learners. Okay, so Coach Matt, whenever you are ready, the floor is yours.
Thank you very, very much. So, like I said, at the end of the day, the first important thing that I'm going to share with you now is do not fear TPR. Do not watch the YouTube videos that are out there because they are probably professional actors who have been hired to do it. So, TPR is not a sing and dance and performance. I did the best male frozen version trying to entertain through TPR. What I'm going to introduce to you now is an understanding of TPR. TPR has two distinct aspects to it: instructional and educational TPR. And your TPR can be lesson specific. So, when planning your lesson, you can actually plan your TPR. And that's very important. I was kind of thinking to myself, as I'm teaching, I'll incorporate my TPR, or as I need it, it'll go along. But no, when you're planning your lesson and understanding TPR correctly, you will not need to, you can actually put it in your lesson, giving you the confidence to be able to use it in the most effective way. So, what we're going to have a look at here is, first of all, a definition. Total physical response. Now, TPR, in the name already there, it's not perform, it's not act, it's not look silly, it's not get the child or the learner or student's attention. It is using your body language to instruct and educate. So it's total physical response. It involves the teacher giving commands to students in the target language. So I'm going to stop there in the definition of TPR. So, in no point in your lesson do you switch to using the learner's language. You are teaching English. Everything you say and do is in English. And TPR is going to help you and help the student understand what you're saying. So, it involves the teacher giving the commands to the students in the target language and the students responding with whole body actions. So, not only are you doing the TPR, but you're only going to invite the students to do it as well. For example, if the teacher says stand up, you stand up. The students will physically stand up. The method relies on associating words and phrases with physical actions, making the learning process more interactive and engaging. Okay, so that is actually what TPR is. TPR is the sign language of the ESL. It's not a performance. It's not a sing and dance. It's not an act. It's actually the sign language where you're going to help your students in the target language. And you're going to use facial expressions, hands, body movements as such. And you're going to ask them to do that. And they're going to learn by association and engaging and working with them. So, the most important part to remember here is there's two types of TPR. Believe it or not, 2.5 years of teaching young learners, I only learned this afterwards. So, educational TPR, the focus helps students learn and internalize new vocabulary and language structures. And the purpose is primarily used to teach and reinforce language concepts. For example, teaching action verbs. So if your vocabulary lesson has verbs in them, jump, run, by having the students physically perform these actions, show them run, jump, And what they're going to do, they might not understand the word you're saying, but they're going to learn the word by seeing your action. So your body, your facial expression, your hands, everything is going to help reinforce. So educational TPR is helping students learn action verbs or words or actions that you are going to show them. Okay, so this why it's called educational TPR is because you're using the actions to educate the student. Okay, so let's give an example. The teacher says, jump, jump, jump. I'm going to try my best at TPR here. So please excuse me. Have a good laugh. You're more than welcome. Jump, jump, clap, wave. You see how my actions are helping, are educating. So not only am I teaching the vocabulary, but I'm using my body to help the educational process. Okay. So every time I do the jump, jump, eventually I can just do the action and the student will respond with the word jump.
Yeah.
So the student has learned the word jump through the action and through me saying it. Okay. So that is educational, using your body, your facial expressions, your hands, your actions to reinforce and help the learning process. Okay. Second part of it is called instructional TPR. And the focus of this gives students directions or commands related to classroom activities or routines. The purpose is used to manage the classroom and guide the students through tasks or activities. It often involves everyday instructions that help students follow along with the lesson. Example, teacher says, open your books. Open your books. So the students then will physically open their books because you're showing them now, you're instructing them what to do. Open your books. So, in summary, educational TPR is about learning the new languages, while instructional TPR is about following directions in the classroom. So, this is the part where instructional will be say, listen. So, you see how I'm instructing the student what to say. Jump, jump, say for teacher. Jump, jump, say for teacher. So, you see there how I combined educational into instructional. Jump, jump, say for teacher, jump. Good job, high five. So you see how I'm incorporating TPR from educational to instructional. And I'm also using it to reward the student. Okay, so that is the most important thing to remember what TPR is. It's the sign language of the ESL industry. And you get the two types, the educational TPR and the instructional. Okay, so what we've done here today is we've comprised a couple of the questions, most common questions that I've been asked, and I think Christy himself has also been asked on a bit of the finer details of TPR. So question is, how can I introduce TPR to students who are unfamiliar with it? Now, that's a brilliant question. So let's say, for argument's sake, you've got a student who's a first-time online student who's never come across TPR or online teaching at all. You simply start by modeling simple commands while performing the actions yourself. For example, when you say stand up, you say it while standing up. Encourage the student then to stand up with you. So you go stand up, and then you use your hands and you show the student stand up. So that is what they mean by modeling. You can so you'll be teaching the student to do the TPR with you. Encourage students to imitate your actions. Begin with easy, familiar words and gradually introduce more complex commands. It is important to create a comfortable environment where students understand that they can learn through observing and doing. Okay. And keep in mind the TPR we're talking about now is for young learners. We'll get into the adult one a bit later. So you see, at the end of the day, what you want to do is you want to create safety. You want to create, if you think about the introduction videos you've made, how many of you have said, I'd like my classroom to be fun and engaging? How do you make your classroom fun and engaging? TPR. Okay, so let's have a look at question number 2. What types of vocabulary are most effective for teaching with TPR? Now, keep in mind what I said earlier about this in terms of structuring TPR into your lesson. So TPR then won't be make it up as you go along in the lesson. You can actually plan a lesson and plan your TPR and put it in the lesson. So what types of vocabulary are the most effective? TPR is particularly effective for teaching action verbs: jump, sit, run, command, stand up, turn around, and prepositions of place: on, under, next to. Okay. It can also be used to teach adjectives: big, small, and simple nouns related to body parts, classrooms, objects, and everyday activities. Okay, so that is where TPR is going to become effective. So when you're planning a lesson of vocabulary and you're planning those fun games that they all talk about in the ESL industry, this is where you're going to bring in the TPR. This is exactly where it's going to be used. Okay, let's have a look at question number 3. How can I keep TPR activities engaging for students over time? Now, this was also a very, very good question, because sometimes in companies where I taught for 2 companies for young learners, one where I had new students every day. But there was a company where I had students over a period of 2 months. So you can only imagine how teacher Matt's creativity was like, oh, 2 weeks in, what do I do now? I've pretty much jumped up and down, rolled on the floor, sang Frozen. What do I do now? How do I keep the activities engaging over time? Vary the commands and incorporate fun interactive games that involve movement, such as Simon Says or role-playing scenarios. You can also increase the complexity of the commands, combine multiple actions, or ask students to create their own TPR commands. Change the pace of introducing new vocabulary regularly, and can also help maintain students' interest. So this is where your activities, your games that you are playing in your lessons with the students come in. Change the games, change the pace, change the setting. Ask the students to come up with their own TPR. Keep it as engaging as possible when it comes to that. Okay. Now, the question of the day, question number 4. Can TPR be used with adult learners? And if so, how? Now, knowing the difference between the 2 types of TPR, yes, TPR can be adapted for adult learners by using more sophisticated vocabulary and real life scenarios. For example, you can use TPR to practice directions or instructions or daily routines that adults encounter. Okay. So in terms of giving directions, yes, that way is north. I hope that way is north. I'm an English teacher and not geography in any way. Can you tell me where up is, down? So you can have real life situations where you can use TPR to help adults, you know, and it is a little bit more complex, and adults are a unique learning experience. But I found the TPR you can use can help them out very much, like the thumbs up, high five, handshake, and mean a greet. I had a student who was told me about how Americans wanted to beat him up. So I said, it's quite interesting that Americans would want to beat you up. And I asked him why. And he said, no, the first thing they did was they stuck their hand out as he walked up to them, because Americans have a way of not saying hello first. They put their hand out without saying a word, and that's a greeting. So there's TPR in action for adults. Put your hand out, no, no, thank you, no, thank you. Put your hands up to indicate that you have a boundary in place. So there's the kind of TPR you can use on adults. And like I say, TPR is adaptive, TPR is unique, TPR is you. So at the end of the day, don't think you're going to have some kind of theater degree or acting degree to be able to pull this off. If you understand what TPR is, the 2 different types, and how to use it, you can actually plan ahead for your TPR. You can actually put it into your lesson, and knowing that the TPR is there and you don't have to wing it is absolutely, absolutely amazing. And it's a great, great feeling to know that you are in control of your TPR. Okay. So, like I said, I'm just going to go back a couple more to over here, to these 2. As long as you understand the difference between the educational TPR and the instructional TPR. And like I say, when you start realizing the difference in between those two types of TPR, it's going to be much, much easier for you. And understanding that TPR is not a performance. It's not that you need, I mean, now picture this. You're going to have a good laugh at this. I worked for Magic Ears. Now, Magic Ears, the teachers that work there are phenomenal. These girls were 21 to 25 in age, energy, passion. Here comes 36-year-old Matt with a gray beard. I thought to myself, I'm never, ever going to compete for this. I'm never, ever going to be able to do this. And this was where I learned the fundamentals of TPR. Like I say, unfortunately, I'd left the company and I learned all about this. So my advice to you at the end of the day is don't fear TPR. Don't think, oh, now I'm going to make an absolute fool of myself. I'm going to put these glasses on and I'm going to have bunny ears on and all of that stuff. I'm going to have to get all of this going on. And it is what it is. And the greatest confidence and the greatest power you as teachers are going to have is when you understand the power of TPR and when you acknowledge how well you can use it. Because think of it this way. When you are struggling with something, it's because you don't understand. Once you learn how to understand, you have the knowledge and your power. And this is what the TPR is over here. This is the knowledge and the power on how to use it effectively. So you don't have to be dramatic, but when a company sees that you are using your TPR correctly, and they can see that you know the difference between your educational and instructional TPR, they are definitely going to hire you on that. Because at the end of the day, they don't just want someone who can sing and dance and perform. They want someone who's going to use this element of online teaching and they're going to use it effectively. Okay, so I'm going to open the floor now and have a look at some of the messages that we have, some of the questions. There we go. Let's have a look.
So I only see one.
From your experience, are children generally enthusiastic about participating in TPR activities? Yes, they are. They are incredibly enthusiastic about it. But at the end of the day, it is dependent on your students. And always remember children. That's why I moved into adult teaching, because children, I'm not very good at the end of the day. Children are in an emotional state. So you can have children that are over the moon and are going to jump into your lesson, but you could log into a lesson where a child is absolutely in tears. This is also where you can use TPR to play a game, have some fun, and get them back and engage them. Remember, when the child sees you having fun, when the child sees you enjoying yourself, they will automatically pick up on that energy. Okay.
Coach Matt, is there anyone in the waiting room?
No.
No one. Okay. Okay, well that's okay. Okay. Yeah, so kids, the TPR actually helps to cheer them up. I've had many lessons where um, um, especially the student doesn't want to do the lesson. He was busy watching TV or sleeping or something, and then the parents woke him up or dragged him away from the TV and forced him to do the lesson. And then he was crying. They're crying. They want to watch TV, and then the TPR actually helped to put them in a good mood, put them in a better mood, and then they could actually do the lesson. Because now, first, you have to cheer them up. Doing a lesson with a student that is not happy is very, very, very difficult. So you first cheer them up with TPR, and then you kind of move on with the lesson. So companies will be very, very grateful if you are able to do this. So yes, it can be used for many different things. Okay, I see there is a new question.
That's actually a very interesting question that you're posing there, that TPR could be diverse in terms of cultures. That is absolutely 100% correct. But like I say, at the end of the day, that's the interesting part of when you're using TPR. Sometimes it is unique to your students. That, and teacher Nana, that was a very good question in terms of that. So you've also got to connect with your students. Now, to give you an example of that, I had Pokemon, Superman, superheroes, and all of that. And I thought that was universal until I got two students that disliked that completely. So that kind of shot my TPR out the window. So I had to actually find out what interests them, what was fun, what they enjoy doing. So that's where I learned that playing games like High Five and all that, I learned that one of my students enjoyed singing. So I had to adapt my TPR and sing. So in that kind of a question, in learning the different types of TPR in terms of the different cultures, sometimes you just got to learn who your student is.
All right.
Okay. The
Um,
students are misbehaving from the start. This is also where warmers, fillers, and coolers come in, the part of the lesson planning structure. So this is where you've got to have a couple of activities on the back burner, not part of your lesson, but just in case. So when you enter the lesson, hello, and the kid is absolutely throwing things at the computer, screaming, shouting, and performing, you got to bring this game or you got to bring this song in. You first have to calm that student down, even if it takes 10, 15 minutes of the lesson, because it doesn't
yeah.
help you teach and everything. So that is the interesting part. You've got to have fillers. So fillers are exercises, games, songs, whatever that you have on the back burner that actually are not in your lesson. And you bring those in just in case you're going to need them for a misbehaving student.
Maybe that might be a good coaching session as well. Warmers, fillers, and coolers. We did put it in the course as well, but we can it was just kind of like an overview of it.
Yeah.
Maybe we can look at a coaching session for that as well. I'll take note. Okay, and then yes, I found that what the Simon Says really helpful for this. Yes, I had about 3 or 4 students. They didn't even know. Okay, they knew nose, eyes, ears. That's about it. But neck, throat, chin, shoulders, elbows, these they didn't know. So it kind of helped them learn their body, use TPR, and it cheered them up in the same at the same time. But now with the A, what was it? A1, A2 level students, don't do the part where you don't say Simon Says, because Simon Says the point of the game, Simon says, and then they do it. If you don't say Simon Says, they're not supposed to do it. But that's a bit too complicated for them to understand. So the point of it is to do TPR. So just focus on Simon Says only. Okay. Oh, Coach Matt remembered something now. Maybe a doll or something.
This is going to help with the next question in terms of the question here was, how do you show enthusiasm and energy? Is there any specific facial expressions that I must do? I use TPR with a little knowledge of it, but the administrator of the demo said that I lack energy. Now, when you teach 6 hours a day, like I did with Magic Ears and everything like that, and I knew all my students were A1, A2, extremely young learners. Now, they'll pick up on your energy very, very quickly. So what Teacher Matt did when Teacher Matt was tired, his teacher Matt put on his glasses and his fluffy headphones. And that's so basically, so they broke. They've been there for years. And I did this. So the kids could not pick up on my tiredness. They were focused on the nose and the listen. So there's many props you can use in terms of to help you out. And this is where props kind of come in as well. So props, like I say, props is a difficult one because every teacher uses their props in different ways for different things. It's not, there's no universal way to use props. So basically, when I was getting tired, I had Momo the monkey and I had um, Scotty. Bop, 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 bop. If I needed to scratch my nose, Scotty would come into the screen and I could scratch my nose, do my ears, sneeze, do what take him away. Ah, I'm back. Teacher Matt's back. I'm tired. Oof, I've had enough of this day. This day is long enough. Got up. Yes, Teacher Matt's back. So this is where you can use props, and this is again for fillers. So if you feel, hang on, I'm lacking energy here, put on a song, put on a game, bring in a prop, divert the attention off your lack of energy and get back into the game like that. So props are a difficult one to use. Right, I'm just moving all my teddy bears and everything out the way. Yeah, so that's where props and that come in. So remember, at the end of the day, you've always got to say to yourself in the scenario, "I'm tired. I've had a long day, but this lesson is only 25 minutes. I'm going to give it 25 minutes of energy
Yes.
because you can't start off high and end low. You can't start off low and end high. The point at where you start in energy is the point at where you end. You keep that energy going the whole way. So you sort of got to find the motivation to get through that lesson. So there's a couple of tips and tricks. Get the glasses, get the earphones, get the pump going. You know, if you need to scratch your nose, take a sip of water, because we weren't allowed to drink anything or do anything in the lesson. So I had all these puppets going so I could just lean over and have a sip of water, you know, kind of thing, and scratch my nose and scratch my eye, kind of thing. So remember, for your demo lesson, it's only 20 minutes. Make sure you've got 20 minutes of energy, even if it's the last bit of energy that you do.
Especially with young learners, energy is very, very important, especially with the demo. The demo is where they test you because what you have to remember and keep in mind is after COVID hit, many people became online teachers because you could do it from home. You didn't have to have a ton of qualifications to do it. So the market kind of got flooded. So the companies were able to get a ton of teachers from everywhere with a lot of qualifications, a lot of skills. But now it got so bad that now they want to focus on, for young learners, they want to focus on fun and engaging teachers. So if you can show them in your demo you are fun, not just talking about having fun, but actually showing them the fun with the TPR and the props, then you stand a much better chance. So for them to say that you have a lack of energy, that might mean that the class was a little bit boring as well. So they want teachers who are fun and entertaining. So finding a teacher with a lot of qualifications is easy. Finding a teacher that is fun, engaging, and entertaining, that's difficult. So that's what they look for in many applicants. Okay, next question.
How can a teacher use TPR to introduce themselves to a student, adult or young, who is a beginner, who can't understand English at all? And also, can the teacher ask the student to introduce themselves? Yes. Again, this will depend completely on the levels of the learner. So if it's A1, A2, which is extreme beginner, you are going to use TPR. Hi, my name, my name is Teacher Matt. Hi. And then the student will obviously wave back. What is your name? What is your name? My name, Teacher Matt. So you see how you're using different styles of instruction, saying hello, me, here I am, name. So I'm mimicking, hi, my name is Teacher Matt. What is your name? So, like I said, it is a struggle, but 90% of the young learners will catch on quite quickly. I've never had a point where I've lost a student just trying to introduce myself. But if you do find yourself at a point where you're struggling, move on to a song, move on to a game. And in the ESL industry, as far as I can remember, it is important for the student to introduce themselves.
Yes. Many teachers they have a difficult name to pronounce, so the student has difficulty pronouncing the name. So they just say like teacher V, teacher B, teacher X, whatever the
Yeah.
case may be. And then you've got a flashcard that's got their teacher B with a B on it. So my name is teacher B, and then you show the B. So you kind of introduce yourself that way as well. So just to make it easier, you can write your name on a flashcard if that's easier. They many of them can't pronounce, but they can read. Roxanne, would you be able just to mute your
Mike, yeah.
mic for us, please, if you
Say
wouldn't
hello,
mind?
say hello to everyone in the background.
Yes, if you wouldn't mind, please, Roxanne, that would be. There we go. Thank you so much. You're a star, guy. Yes. So you just kind of put it on a flashcard if you're having trouble introducing yourself. If not, it's not a problem. But if you do, put your name on a flashcard. They are much easier. It's much easier to read your name. Then you can kind of help them to read and pronounce as well. Okay, next one.
Can you use
Can you
props
use?
when teaching adults. Yes, definitely. Especially when you're teaching, let's say, conversational English, like traveling. You can use an airplane ticket, show them what it looks like. You can use a map. This is what a map looks like, kind of thing. So you can actually use real life examples of the things they're going to encounter. So that's where the props for adults will come in.
Um, if you have the props, yes.
Yeah.
Otherwise, use Google. Use Google, search it, share screen, show them on Google. They respond well to pictures as well if you don't have the flashcards or the props
Yeah.
for it.
Would you be
Okay,
able
next
to
one.
video where TPR is used for someone who shows energy and enthusiasm? Yeah, there are quite a few videos out there that you can have a look at that people do it. Like I say, teacher coach Thatcher is not very, very good at it, so everything like that. But Krista mentioned in the course, he's put some resources in there for you.
I did. We created an ebook for it as well, with a few examples. So I'll show that afterwards. But I will put on the thing here to find more TPR examples, videos of teachers doing TPR. Examples. Then I'll add that in the course too. Okay, for the mic. No, it's not a problem. Okay. So it looks like that's all the questions. Anyone else have any questions?
No.
Going once, going twice. Nope. Okay, so what I'll do is I'll see if I can find a couple of videos and insert that into the course as well. Coach Matt, will it be okay if I screen share quickly?
Yes, I'm just going to stop mine quickly. There we go.
Okay, let me share. Let's see. Everybody should be able to see it.
Yes, it's come
You
through.
see it? Okay. Okay, so within the course, you simply go stage 5, classroom ready. Then you get trial lessons and teaching young learners. Okay, so we are going to replace this video at a later stage. This is an older video from the previous website. So we are going to replace this one that I've got on here. But if you scroll down, you'll see here TPR for teaching young learners in the table of content. So you simply go down past that, past time management. So there's TPR there, the video that we did. Also, an older video. We will make a new video of this and put it on there as well. But then I added the ebook here for you. So you simply go down and then you can download the TPR ebook that we did. Okay, and then tonight and tomorrow, I will add more videos in here as well between this one and classroom management. Then you can kind of look at examples because there are many, like we said now, various ways of doing TPR. So I'll see which videos I can find and then put the examples in here for you to watch as well. Okay, so yeah, you can find that in stage 5, and then you can kind of watch it and just take note, see what you can do, see what fits your personality. If you don't have the energy level for it, kind of just bring it down a little bit, because as coach said, the beginning and the end, it kind of has to go equally. So there's no point in starting high, ending low, or starting low, ending high. You're just going to confuse the student. Okay. Yeah, so that's all I've got on TPR for now, but I will add more information on it. It's kind of works out nicely because now we can, with the coaching sessions, see what else we can add to it as well, just to kind of expand the course as well. Okay, so that's it. If there's no more questions, anyone has anything they would like to share?
Perfect. Yeah,
No,
thank you.
it doesn't look that way. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining. Thank you for having us. Thank you for being here.
Sorry,
And thank you
Crystal.
so much for the questions. Really, really helpful.
Sorry, Crystal. I have a question. Sorry to I was trying to unmute my my microphone, and for some reason it was acting up. So I see on the picture that you have on the screen it's about you said I can teach you how to teach IELTS. for this particular course, can anyone, because I've written IELTS, the UK one before, and is it the same thing or is it something totally different to teaching? I don't know if
Okay,
that
so
makes
IELTS is
sense.
IELTS
I don't
standard.
know if,
It's a standard thing through and through from the UK, American IELTS, all exactly the same standard exam.
so so if I've written IELTS before and passed it, can I safely say that I'm able to teach it? Teach it?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay.
If you've passed it, you can teach it. Yeah. If your band score had to be higher than 9, that means you're a B2 C1 level English, which is perfect.
I have an 8.
No, it's still the same. It's relatively here or there. So
Okay.
at the end of the day,
yes.
you are competent in English, meaning you're a B2 C1 level English.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you. I will come to your inbox.
No problem.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, so with Coach Matt, he kind of focuses on teens and adults mostly, and this includes IELTS and business English. So he can kind of show you how to teach the IELTS to your students, because many of the companies want teachers specifically for IELTS or specifically for business English. So if you walk in with your conversational English skills, they're going to tell you, okay, but do you know how to teach IELTS? And that's where the problem comes in. So that's kind of where Coach Matt then can kind of guide you how to teach the IELTS. He's got material for it as well, etc. So he can kind of show you how to teach it to your students as well. Guys, so yes, I think that's it, Coach Matt. Anything from your side?
That's all. Thank you very much for all of you being here. Thank you for your questions.